Alright, what is going on, guys? Got a breakdown for UFC Vegas 47. This is the Hermanson versus Strickland fight night on February 5th. Very interesting bout here. We got Shavkat Rakhmonov taking on Carlston Harris at welterweight. Rakhmonov going to have a 1-inch advantage in height and reach, so I will start with him. This guy is a hyped prospect, man, for good reason. The hype is real, and the level of competition prior to coming to the UFC is real, too. M1 Global Champ beat Jun Young Park by rear naked choke in 2016. Granted, Park wasn't established yet, but Rakhmonov was still only 5-0 at the start of that fight, or 6-0. But yeah, no padded record here. 14 fights, 14 finishes, and you can always tell when you got a hyped prospect in the UFC when they match him up with established veterans, which they tried to a couple times. Bartosz Fabinski, that guy comes with a double leg and a double leg only, ends up driving into guillotines. Probably would have happened against Rakhmonov if that one happened. But, yeah, that one got canceled because of COVID. And then Ramazan Ameev, Aleski Delize de los Santos, jeez, tongue twister, man. And then they finally do match him up with Cowboy Oliveira in his UFC debut. And that's a established veteran, a guy who has multiple wins in the UFC. And I know he's been taking L's later in his career, but against guys who are very much contenders, or on their way up, he's not a slouch, Cowboy Oliveira, at all. And he wasn't able to do anything against Rakhmonov. He wasn't able to do anything in the clinch, where he's pretty good. And just at striking range, Rakhmonov just towers over him. Same thing with Prazeres. Rakhmonov just so much bigger. Ends up getting a rear naked choke against Prazeres after pretty much bullying him on the feet. He was just unable to get in range, Prazeres was. And then against Cowboy Oliveira, gets the guillotine. And the thing with Rakhmonov is he's got very good all-around game. He's got a lot of power in his strikes. These guys are similar sizes listed, but Rakhmonov, he just looks like the bigger guy. It is an interesting matchup because Harris is a bigger opponent than most of the guys that Rakhmonov has faced, but he is a weight bully if there ever was one. He's one of those guys where you just don't understand how he makes the weight class, and he's just enormous, Like, you'll see it in this fight. He's probably going to look significantly bigger than Carlston Harris, even though they're listed as the same size. And yeah, I would give the edge in power to Rakhmonov for sure, probably all-around striking. But then on the ground, he's just got insanely good chokes and very, very heavy ground and pound. So if he's able to reverse position and get into a dominant position on Carlston Harris, he has the ability to finish the fight in multiple ways. And for Carlston Harris, this guy's been very impressive in the UFC so far. Originally born in Guyana, trains out of Rio de Janeiro now, and he's 2-0 in the UFC. Both finishes, granted, against lower level competition, but Christian Aguilera gets the Anaconda choke, very nice in round one, was having a lot of success with the takedown game in that one, which he typically does. He's got very good takedowns that he gets from range too. He's not a guy that only has one way to get the fight to the ground. He's got good body locks in close, but he can shoot from a long range to get these trip takedowns or single legs, and I do think it lends to his striking. The threat of the grappling and the takedown ability from a long range ends up setting up some good strikes for him. He's got a good left. He's got good counter striking, pretty decent head movement. Not a ton of power, but he's got good precision and, again, good counter striking. Does get the knockout against Impa Kasanganay, who I was surprised when he was cut initially, but if you look at his striking defense, it's very green. I think that they kind of did him a favor. He needs to touch some things up, and then he can be a solid prospect, Impa Kasanganay. But, yeah, not a lot of defense from him, and he kind of made Carlston Harris look like a world beater on the feet. But his bread and butter is the grappling, and a very decent prospect, or he's not a prospect, he's old, but he deserves a lot of respect, Carlston Harris does. But for this one, Rakhmonov, a big favorite, minus 275 on FanDuel, about minus 280 on DK, so not much variance. I do think that the line is probably going to swell on Rakhmonov. I do like Rakhmonov to win this fight, and I did already bet him. The first leg was Michel Pereira money line this past weekend, and then so the second leg is Shavkat Rakhmonov. But I do plan on probably betting more, and we'll see what we get for props. 14 fights, 14 finishes. It's hard not to like Shavkat Rakhmonov inside the distance, but we'll see. We got some time to decide on all that stuff. But yeah, like I said, much respect to Carlston Harris's game. I think he's a game fighter. He's just running into a buzzsaw here. And everything he does well, I think that Rakhmonov has the ability to neutralize and do a little bit better. They're the same size listed, right? But again, Rakhmonov's a little bit bigger. He's got insanely good chokes. He's got good scrambles on the ground, good transitions, and he can finish the fight with heavy ground and pound in a flash. This ground and pound is relentless. And then on the feet, I think Rakhmonov's going to have the advantage. Again, Carlston Harris's striking is pretty decent, but I think that Rakhmonov's going to have the clear power advantage, and he's just going to either break him down or land a big shot early. And it's really tough to pick Carlston Harris in this one, man. I do think that the line is justified, and I think the hype is justified on Rakhmonov. But should be a fun fight. Looking forward to it. Some decent matchups on this card. So thanks for watching, guys. Sure, subscribe, and take it easy.